Right now, I'm not alone in the studio. I have the U.S. Army Garrison Rheinland Pfalz command team here in the studio. I've got Colonel Jason Edwards, Command Sergeant Major Britt Waterhouse, and Dr. Grease. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have a lot to discuss this morning. Of course, COVID-19 is on the forefront of a lot of people's minds. So we're going to discuss policies and measures that are being put in place in order to protect us all and help us all move forward and carry on with the mission.
Absolutely, and we're doing it right now because you removed the foam that goes over the microphone. So if I sound a little like Bob Seger this morning or David Lee Roth, you know why, because you've removed the foam off of this. You get my true voice now.
Safety first, always.
The safety filter's gone. We're raw. This is raw now.
I don't know if some of our audience know those two gentlemen you mentioned, but they can Google it.
Yeah.
Did you see the look on my face? Is that why you said
Those
that?
two singers.
Their last hit was
Johnny
20 years
Cash.
before you were born. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'll look them up right now. Go ahead and stick around with us here on AFN Kaiserslautern's Morning Magic. We're going to dive into the discussion. COVID-19, here we come. That was Bob Seger. You'll accompany me. It's the Colonel Edwards is in the studio, not only educating us on COVID-19, but also educating us on music.
Absolutely, and to clarify what you just said,
Did I say it wrong?
this is the kind of that was fantastic,
Okay.
but this is the kind of music my dad listens to. So he was a disc jockey in the '80s, so that was awesome. So we know how old we are.
Oh,
That's okay. I won't take it personal.
my dad's really cool, though. He's hip. You guys are awesome, too. Oh, my goodness. Shaking my head at myself right now. Okay, moving forward, though. We're talking COVID-19. I know there was a town hall held last night. What are some things we should know about the current situation?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about it in some form, all morning. But I just want to first say, we had an opportunity last night to, with our senior responsible officer, talk about this on an open mic, if you will, on Facebook Live. And I think that the takeaway from the community is, and I've said this in several different forms, from top to bottom, we are synchronized on how this is working, how we're moving forward. There's no playbook for this. I've been in the military for 24 years, which is not as long as it could be. I still have a couple more years left. But I've never seen anything like this. I was around when the tsunami hit in Japan. That was a different type of thing for catastrophe. This is just different. The restrictions that we have right now are even tougher than what we had for 9/11. It's just different. And so, like General Mohan said, it's finding the new normal and trying to make sure we help our folks. And we're going to talk through a couple changes and series of events that are going to happen over the next couple of weeks. And all we can do is make sure we keep everyone informed at all levels of leadership. That is our commitment. And more importantly, just do so openly in a transparent and honest way.
Yeah, as we go forward, you're going to get sick of us, actually. You're not going to get COVID-19 sick, but you're going to have town hall after this blog, after this newsletter, like that, because we are dedicated to getting this. I would rather people say, hey, I'm getting hit up too many times, than I don't know what's going on. So, and we're doing our best. The Colonel's doing his best, and we're all our staff's doing our best to make sure that the same message, same words, and same message is getting out so that the people can go to multiple places to find the same information.
And things, are being updated daily. Things are changing daily, and we'll discuss that in different segments. So you got to stay tuned, and that's also why we're going to be on a lot talking to you guys.
This is Morning Magic on AFN. Right now, I've got Colonel Edwards, CSM Waterhouse, and Dr. Grease in the studio answering questions. Now, also on that page, we posted up yesterday's town hall, and I'm just curious, with all the town halls that you've been holding, what are some of the major concerns that have been brought up?
Well, that's a good question. So the first overarching concern is people want to understand whether they can move or not. So from a civilian standpoint and soldier standpoint, everyone has been stop movement for official travel. Everyone, and so there is an exception to policy and process for certain conditions. So it's important that if you do need to move or you think you need to move, such as emergency leave, retirement, etc., like that, those types of actions, you need to contact your chain of command. In fact, defaulting to contact your chain of command is the first option for almost all of this. The second part is about personal travel. So I'm going to talk. I would like to discuss a little bit of the civilians. We get a lot of questions about this. All right. So as civilians over here, if you're a Department of the Army civilian, at least, you're part of a team, and that team is undergoing a crisis and a hardship right now. I'm asking that you, regardless if you legally have an opportunity to travel, that you be cognizant of your team members that can't, and that you participate, and you endure a little bit of a sacrifice, and you not travel. Follow General Mohan's guidance for this area, and follow the soldiers' guidance, which is not traveling, moving around. Don't expose other people just because you can move. Stay sheltered down or go to your work, but don't be traveling around and not only be exposing other people if you might get it, but more importantly, you don't get it and bring it back. The second part is about telework and being at work. Several different organizations have their own internal telework policies. Telework is being encouraged, highly encouraged, from the 21st TSC and other organizations such as ourselves. But the other one that comes with the telework is administrative leave. Follow guidance coming out. There's guidance changing. We had memos issued just this week, as a matter of fact, changing policies or clarifying policies actually for our civilian employees. One of it is this: Major General Mohan and our garrison as well. We do not want to put you in a place, if you're a single parent, for example, where we're making you choose between being an employee or being a parent. We know what that choice is. So if you have a single child at home, contact your supervisor if you're a civilian employee, and let's work out some things. You may have to take some leave for a little bit until we figure all this out. If you're a soldier, your place of duty, according to General Mohan, is that you're with your child. All right? So don't make your people make that choice. And if they have to for mission essential, do your best to work that out. In other words, provide them opportunities. There is a 24-hour hotline for civilian employees to call HRC, or not, excuse me, HRC, but OPM in the hotlines, and that is 001-888-276-9472, and then select option 5.
Most definitely. You could also get more information at the Army homepage, home.army.mil/Rheinland Falls. What up? It's Phil. I've got the command team of U.S. Army Garrison Rheinland Falls here with me, Colonel Edwards, CSM Waterhouse, and Dr. Grease. We're talking COVID-19.
Yeah, you just said what up. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, so Sergeant Major, going to talk through this. We got some changes you're going to see. It's gonna occur in sequence by design, and it'll change what you see every day you come inside of one of the Army gates. So Sergeant Major will talk us through that.
So starting today, depending on which of our installations, sometimes we call them casernes, barracks, air base, whatever. We don't have air bases, but we have Pulaski right here. So certain gates, like at certain installations today, for example, at Simbach Caserne, in the Baumholder Military Community, and also Ryan Ordnance Barracks, there's going to be soldiers out there asking questions to people coming into the gates, and that's for our own safety, for their safety, and it's questions related to COVID to make sure that people that may have been exposed or have symptoms, they know what to do. And if they live there, they'll be allowed to come in, and I'm going to talk through some stuff here of kind of what that's going to look like. But what we're trying to do is prevent the continuous spread of this disease, right? And that's for our own safety. And you may not know, most people don't know that they even have symptoms, stuff like that. So we're not necessarily taking your temperature at the gate. We're not doing that, but we're asking certain questions. And one of the biggest things is, have you been exposed? Have you been certain places? And I'm not going to go into the exact questions, but it's like 4 questions. It will take a little bit more time to get in the gate, but you will. Today you may go to certain concerns and that's not established yet, but by tomorrow there will be screening, as we call it, at every gate. And one of the biggest questions I get, through the Army channels and just people asking me is, if I have flu-like symptoms or I have a temperature, and one of the things out there that we're asking, and if you're watching everything, it's 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or I think it's 36 degrees Celsius. If you have a temperature of that or above, that's a symptom of the flu or your body's fighting something. But what do I do? Okay, well, what you should do is go to your home, which might be a barracks, it might be off post, it might be a house, and we have there's a nurse advice line that everybody could call, and of course you notify your chain of command if you're a civilian, your supervisor, if you're a soldier in the barracks, your sergeant or whatever. First thing is, don't go, kind of self-isolate. Not isolate's not the right word. Stay away from your buddies, all right, your family. Call this advice number, which I'm going to give you, and the nurses will, that advice line will tell you, okay, they'll walk you through some more questions to see what's going on. And if you have to, worst case, come into launch duel or something like that, or them come to you, that will be determined by the person you talk to. So that nurse advice line, I'll give it a couple times, but this is going to be at the gates. People that say yes to these questions will get a piece of paper that says that number, so it's not a secret. So it's 0800, and you can call us from your cell phone. I tried it. All right, so it's 0800 071 3516. 0800 071 3516. If you're not in the Army or Air Force and you don't have TRICARE, you get a hold of your doctor and you can do the same thing. And of course, contact your supervisor.
Hey, so key to that, it's just making sure that you have taken the steps to socially isolate yourself. It's very simple. You're going to have a situation where, if you're feeling bad, stay home and call the nurse hotline. You shouldn't be out and about anyway. So you just have to use some common sense, social distancing, and if you have questions, ask.
Our time is almost up. We've been talking with the U.S. Army Garrison's command team. Was there anything else you'd want to leave us with before you guys had to head out? Yeah,
so I'd like to talk about two separate things. So everybody's kind of asking questions. Why is this closed? Why is that closed? Look, you have to make your own decisions, but here's what it is. This is a transmission cycle, a path of transmission between people. This is not a question of if we're going to get this or if it's going to be here. It's a question of when. So what we have to do is do everything you can to break the cycle, break the transmission, which means that's the reason for the social distancing. That's the reason we're doing certain things, is to break that cycle. Do everything you can to break the cycle, and that means contact. Unfortunately, it's that contact. But to find out the different tactics and ways to do that, in case you're stumped, plug into where all the different things that we have out there to find information. Our website is out there. We have our Facebook is out there. We have multiple different types of things. Town halls, this radio show, all that is out there.
So I've got a couple things. First, I want to thank the soldiers and folks that are volunteering. We have soldiers volunteering at the commissary to keep those shelf stocks. We don't have shortages of stuff in the commissary, but we have a shortage of folks to get that stuff because the demand's so high. So we've got soldiers working in the commissaries around the clock, making sure the stock is on the shelves for us. I also want to hit one more time self-discipline to the transmission of this or the spread of this, right? We've got to be self-disciplined. Wash your hands often, before you put your fingers in your mouth to eat or, everywhere you go. If you touch something, you need to wash your hands. Yes, there's a shortage of hand sanitizer, but we have good old soap and water. And wash your hands early and often. And then check on your battle buddies, whether that's your family members, your co-workers, your fellow dorm or roommates in the dorms or the barracks. Check on each other to make sure everybody is staying disciplined and make sure that if they are having signs and symptoms of the flu or something like that, they know what to do.
I think these are two excellent points as we wrap this up today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a new normal. We said that in the beginning. Be flexible, be patient, and then maintain your resiliency. This is a very difficult period. It's a time to take care of each other, time to have some unity, and we are going to be okay. We are the best fighting force in the world. We can do this and overcome. So on behalf of the entire USAGRP team, just thank you for your patience and thank you for your comments. If there's something that we can do better, please make sure that you get that to us, and we will try to implement as quickly as possible.
Thank you so much, all of you, for coming out here and just informing us. Because right now, I think that That's the main thing we could do is stay informed and, like you said, stay disciplined. You're listening to AFN Kaiserslautern, serving America's best.